final question comes from Nicholas Nichetti. And Nicholas says, Suskind was great, but listening to that episode made me more convinced that Lee Smolin is onto something. Lee Smolin's theory of cosmological natural selection has a similar landscape of possibilities to what Suskind is a proponent of, but by attaching it to natural selection, a universe that is stable and can develop complexity becomes a likely thing versus being a 1 in 10 to the 500 outcome. Whatever the mechanism might be, a cosmological natural selection model seems a lot more anthropic than the eternal production of bubble universes that are unable to support life. Since you've spoken to both of them, I'm curious where you stand on this. Okay, to introduce this issue means to introduce the fine-tuning problem. If you look at the standard model of particle physics, which is our best theory of the microscopic, so we're going to leave general relativity out for now, it looks like there are 17 free parameters in our best theory of physics. What that means is that there are 17 constants or components of physics, I guess, that don't just emerge naturally from the theory, but that we had to go out into the world and investigate to discover. And some of these constants are so sensitive that if they were just slightly different, life couldn't have arisen. And this is what leads to the fine-tuning problem. We want to explain why it is that the constants are the way that they are when they seemingly could have been very different. The two ideas, broadly construed, that Nicholas is referring to are, at least in part, solutions to, or purported solutions to, the fine-tuning problem. And I'll start with what these two ideas are. The first, Leonard Susskind, stems from this concept or theoretical construct called the string landscape. Okay, first of all, what string theory is string theory reimagines the point particles of quantum mechanics as tiny vibrating strings, the vibrations of which give rise to what we observe as the fundamental particles of the standard model. And what this is saying, what the string landscape is saying, is that there are 10 to the 500 different possible sets of laws of physics that could emerge from string theory, essentially. And the idea is that new universes are constantly bubbling up with different laws of physics, each set of which is plucked from this landscape. And it's motivated not only by string theory, but by cosmological inflation. And then the other idea is cosmological natural selection, which is that any black hole can produce a new universe. And the new universe has slightly different constants from the parent black hole or the parent universe. And this reproduction, the parent universe that the original black hole is located in. And this reproduction process will result in more universes that produce black holes. And if these happen to coincide with universes more like ours, they'll be more likely to produce universes with constants like ours that could give rise to life. Both ideas have some problems. So string theory is quite notably not rigorously developed or experimentally confirmed. But string theory is still well motivated theoretically, and most of the world's high energy particle physicists work on it. And then inflation is the dominant model in cosmology. So there is still a lot behind the string theoretic multiverse solution to the fine-tuning problem. On the other hand, the cosmological selection model or idea is totally speculative. So I don't know of any good reason to think that black holes spawn new universes, for one. Another problem is that, according to quantum mechanics, information cannot be lost, but if information is transferred to offspring universes through black holes, then there could be information loss, which would contradict our best confirmed theory of physics. So, in short, while the question is very much open, I, contra you, Nicholas, have a much higher credence that the string theoretic cosmological inflation solution is right rather than the cosmological natural selection model. All right. And this completes the August Ask Me Anything episode of Robinson's podcast. And I will have said this in the introduction, but I am extremely thankful for all of your questions. This was very fun, and I am looking forward to September. So please come back and ask more on the Patreon.